And it has finished Tottenham Hotspur 3, Liverpool 6. This is my instant match reaction to that. And I have to start by kind of just laughing. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. We were absolutely outplayed from minute one. I have to mention it. I'm sorry, but we have 10 injuries. And this is the game where that came home to roost. We played against a team who have hardly any injuries whatsoever. And they've been playing together all season. They are top of the league, and rightly so. They've got rhythm. They know exactly what each other are going to do. And we just could not get near them from minute one. And there was just an unbelievable amount of space in central midfield for Liverpool throughout that game. And they were completely clinical. And we've played against a number of teams this season who have had chance after chance after chance against us, and they've not been clinical enough. But this team really were. In fact, I think before this game, Spurs had only lost games this season by 1 goal. And frankly, we could have lost today by about 8 or 9 goals. And we're fortunate we didn't. We had a little comeback in the second half. We were 5-1 down at 60 minutes. And then we got it back to 5-3. But even throughout it, I don't think any Spurs fan ever thought that we were in that game. And really, it's a difficult one because, it is... there's going to be a lot of people calling for Ange's head. Of course there is, because we've been, heavily beaten at home, and it could look quite embarrassing. But also there is something in terms of for me, in terms of the long term, and in terms of this is the way we want to play, to still duke it out and go head to head with this team and see what we can do. There is something honorable about it, but maybe also I can totally understand how a lot of people would say how naive it is. And of course we will get the Neville Redknapp, the Gary Neville and Jamie Redknapp pairing flying in on Spurs and saying how you can't do it. Well, I would argue Tottenham didn't try and outplay Liverpool today. Tottenham didn't have all the possession and just go gung-ho. They just don't have the tools in central midfield to deal with a team like Liverpool. And then on top of that, just the fatigue level. Like Liverpool were 15 to 20% more energetic throughout the entire game, in my opinion. And that does make a difference. I'm not making excuses. Look, we were poor and we made some terrible decisions. For me, and I'll go into kind of the minute by minute, but for me, the worst thing we did was having given ourselves a chance just before halftime with a brilliant finish from James Maddison to make it only 2-1, when really Liverpool could have been out of sight already at that point. That's where game management comes into it. Then you're like, okay, I've got 3 minutes before halftime. Just make sure you don't concede another one. And then, of course, we concede another one. Just like we do against Liverpool every time we play them. We get ourselves back in a game, or we equalize in the last minute, and then we concede another one. We make ourselves look like mugs. And at that point, that's where I think some game management has to come into it. And there's not enough leadership on the pitch, really, for that to happen. And I've seen a few kind of social media clips in the last week or two showing Sonny a bit more of a leader, kind of talking to his players and stuff like that. But for me, I'd like to see at that point, Son Heung-min on the pitch, just going to the boys now, 5 minutes, just keep it as it is. Keep it as it is. But Jamie Carragher and Jamie Redknapp and Gary Neville just getting ready. Like Jamie Carragher is loving this. I can just see from his face, he's loving it. He's going to absolutely get into Spurs, and he wants to get Ange Postecoglou sacked. And last week, he went in on Postecoglou, and Postecoglou came back and said, are you not entertained? And I know Carragher's going to have a go at me. And unfortunately, with a game like Liverpool coming up next at home, and you get absolutely pulverized, and it could have been 10, that is not a good look for Ange. So for me personally, I wouldn't get rid of Ange. I don't think any man is going to come in right now, especially with the amount of injuries that Tottenham Hotspur have got, and change anything round straight away. But I can see why people subjectively would say that it's ugly. And especially on a day, I have to say, I'll say this, especially on a day where Bournemouth have gone and won 3-0 at Old Trafford. They turned us over at theirs the other week. And Iraola has a good mix of, playing good football. Reminds me a lot of Pochettino. I've said it before, I'll say it again. A good mix of playing good football, but then when needs be, knowing when to play a longer ball, or getting in a team's face and going kind of just trying to win all the 50-50s and win a game like that, like they did against us at the Vitality Stadium. For me, today against Arne Slot's Liverpool was a perfect example of how it doesn't have to be all one-way. Slot, endlessly today, Liverpool just playing mid to long-range balls over the top of our high line and getting in time and time and time again. And as a result, us being stretched and then not being able to keep the ball if we haven't conceded from that. And with that on top of the fatigue, it was a real lesson today. But I'll go into the minute by minute. Spurs actually in the first minute of the game started okay. Sonny had a chance to cross it for Solanke, and Solanke couldn't quite get on the end of it, but I think it would have been called back for offside anyway. But then in the second minute, maybe a little bit of a warning as to what was to come after what happened in the week for Fraser Forster. Pretty much his first opportunity to get rid of the ball. He tries to dink it over Mo Salah, and Salah just chests it down about 15 yards out and has a volley, which fortunately for us and very fortunately for Fraser Forster went into the side netting. It was a really high-tempo start from Liverpool. They had a shot in the 3rd minute from Luis Diaz wide. They were getting lots of early crosses in first time. We conceded a couple of goals as a result of that. And Tottenham, I have to say, all season and pretty much all the time under Ange Postecoglou, incredibly susceptible to goals from crosses that we do not stop at source. 10th minute, amazing ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold. A volley from Salah saved by Forster well. Follow-up shot brilliantly blocked by Pape Matar Sarr. I've made a note in the 13th minute, and I'll say that for the whole game, I thought Jed Spence played really well. I thought Archie Gray actually did really well, considering he's not a centre-half. I don't think any of that was his fault. Then in the 15th minute, Gakpo had a shot over the bar after a huge Trent Alexander-Arnold dive to Diaz, and that was going on all day. But there was something in the 15th minute that I noticed, which was a long ball that was on for Spurs over the top of the right-hand fullback to let... over the top of Robertson, their left fullback for Deki Kulusevski, and we nearly got in a couple of times in the first half from that. 16th minute, couple of huge blocks from Spence. Salah hit the bar in the 17th minute. Archie Gray with an unbelievable clearance under his own crossbar in the 19th minute. He did a few of those in that game. Then they took the lead. 22nd minute, Diaz, like I said, just let Trent Alexander-Arnold have a free cross, easy header. Solanke got in just after down the right-hand channel, had a cross well blocked, and Deki had a shot from the resulting short corner. But it was really like the Alamo. Diaz, another shot well saved by Forster in the 25th minute. Salah, so much time in the box, 28th minute, nearly another goal then. Bissouma in the 30th minute really disappointed me. A break from Liverpool. Bissouma should have taken the Liverpool player down, taken a yellow card for the team. He didn't. And as a result, Pape Matar Sarr had to save him by intercepting and winning a foul off Cody Gakpo. Sonny was in the 33rd minute, but something that I will say, I thought the referee was pretty average today. He let Liverpool get away with a lot of 50-50s, but called Spurs up for all of them. And it's easy for me to say that at 6-3. We didn't lose the game because of that, but I saw that a lot. And Sonny was in, but the referee called the ball back in the 33rd minute for a rolling ball from the free kick, and it just wasn't rolling. 40th minute, Sarr volleyed straight at Alisson after some good play. And then in the 41st minute, like I said, I've missed out. 35th minute, 2-0, first time cross. Gray was beaten in the air. He was up for a header with Jed Spence, and the ball kind of unluckily popped up and McAllister headed it in. But in the 41st minute, we got ourselves back in. It matters with a beautiful finish after winning the ball up high, but we couldn't keep it until half-time. And it was Szoboszlai who scored, who scored in added time after very poor play from Spurs. Liverpool almost gave us a throw-in their own half, pretty deep in their own half. Trent had to just keep it on from a bad pass, and then he just clears it wildly with his left foot. And unfortunately, Radu Dragusin, who I think has been playing well recently, he wasn't on his toes, and he's beaten with a header by, I think, Szoboszlai, and then Salah is in, and all he has to do is slip in his man to the right and put it in. Maybe it wasn't actually Szoboszlai who won the first header. Anyway, into the second half, 47th minute already, Liverpool first everything again. We're just so fatigued. Salah cross nearly found Gakpo. A yellow card for Szoboszlai for holding back Bissouma in the 51st minute. 4-1 in the 53rd minute. Spurs were going forward, but Liverpool won it and broke, and they're 4-on-2 with a goalmouth scramble. Archie Gray actually cleared the ball off the line twice during that scramble, but in the end, Salah just pops it in. I wrote there, fatigue is real. 55th minute, another note that I think Spence was playing beautifully. 56th minute, just a straight hack down the middle from Liverpool. Szoboszlai's one-on-one, rounded the keeper, should have scored into an empty net, but put it wide. We were pretty lucky there. 57th minute, Bergvall and Johnson came on for Sarr and Maddison. Sarr looked particularly tired, as did Bissouma all game. Madders, again, taken off pretty early. 58th minute, some good football down the left, one as a corner after some good play between Spence and Bissouma. 60th minute was 5-1. So easy on the transition. I've written Salah set up by Szoboszlai, nearly 6 straight away down the left again, but thankfully they didn't score then. Another Trent shot in the 62nd minute. Deki had a chance, tried to get in down the right, tried to cross rather than shoot, but Van Dijk blocked it. Shot from Deki, who was trying everything, and he did try everything throughout the game. In the 66th minute, he had another shot, went out for a corner. 67th, Liverpool showed their strength in depth, brought on Jota and Jones for Gakpo and McAllister, and then came Spurs' little fight back. 71st minute, beautiful goal from Deki Kulusevski. him and Solanke playing some good stuff down the left, and then Solanke dinks a ball over Van Dijk, and Kulusevski volleyed home, smashed it home, 5-5 for Decky. Straight away, though, Diaz in a one-on-one, the keeper came out and he chipped it over the bar. Bergvall was booked the 78th minute for stopping an attack. I've written good lad. You've got to take your professional fouls, and frankly, he did better at that than Basuma did. Werner came on for the 81st minute. 82nd minute, we made it 5-3. Solanke with a great finish on the half volley after Bergvall gave a deep high cross. Johnson won the header, and Solanke beautifully finished. But I said it then. I said, you know, maybe you get excited and thought we were only 2 goals away, but we'll definitely concede again. And then in the 84th minute, made it 6-3. Diaz, bottom left-hand corner. But the Spurs fans were chanting Ange's name at that point, so they're kind of enjoying themselves. And after that, it all kind of calmed down. Salah and Diaz went off. And then actually in the very last minute of the game, Archie Gray did really well to head a ball over for a corner that looked like they might make it 7. So a wild, topsy-turvy game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It will allow the pundits, the journalists, and everyone to get at Spurs. They won't mention the 10 injuries. If they do mention it, they'll say, you know, if you've got 10 injuries, you've got to shut up shop and play 11 men behind the ball. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Let me know in the comments, though. We'd lose like that as well, wouldn't we? We might not lose 6-3, but we'd lose like that as well, and it wouldn't be in favor of the long-term project. So I do see what Ange is doing. I see where he's coming from, and he's in a difficult hole. He's really in a difficult hole. But for me, just to sum up at the end of my post-match reaction, for me, I would not be sacking Ange at this point. I would be saying to him, we're going to stick with you. We're going to buy you some players in this January so we have a better squad, a stronger first team. And we can open up any team, but we need to get our players back. We need Van de Ven back. We need Romero back. We need Udogie to be back at 100%. Jed Spence, I'm sorry, an absolutely brilliant player. A brilliant player. And he has been the best thing that has come out of this period of injuries, and we will benefit from that in the long term. But we have to be brave here. We have to be patient. And I'm sorry to bring it up again, but Edu, the sporting director of Arsenal, when everyone wanted Mikel Arteta out, he was patient. And look at where they are now. Look at where they are. They are going to be challenging again. And it's a horrible thought because I think they might win it. I hope Liverpool win it. I really do. But they were brave and they stuck with their man. And right now we have to stick by our man. We have 10 injuries. And yes, we're embarrassed a bit today. But that's where we have to be brave. Anyway, guys, that was the end of my post-match reaction from the Liverpool Tottenham 3, Liverpool 6 game. I'm